Hello, everyone. I have to say for me, this experiment was a little bit fun, considering I've been using my coworkers as lab rats practically all week. Um, so I actually enjoyed this experiment. It's actually a really nice way and for me to figure out a way to get communication in a retail area, especially between retail management. I received a new management team I want to say a couple months ago, and the communication ever since we got this new store lead has not been the greatest. There's a lot of throwing directions here and there, but there's no communicating within the actual between the actual management team. So my experiment was based on the entire management team. Um, I did pick a few candidates for this experiment. I chose my direct boss, two of my direct bosses, and an employee, just a regular employee. Um, the outcome I was trying to achieve was to get people to listen to one another and not just hearing, listening to one's ideas, questions, comments, concerns, and feedback, whether especially if it's constructive criticism toward and everyone reaches the common goal that everyone will benefit off of. I worked with um, in my last assignment, I told you how I worked with my friend Nicole. She's been helping out me a lot with a lot of experiments lately. Um, the first step to conduct this experiment, I decided to, take notes, see how they connect and, talk to each other or listen to each other without any type of guidance. What I learned in that process, which was the first, 2 days of this experiment, the first 2 days I learned that they don't communicate by listening. They can communicate by, yelling at one another, talking over one another. Not much listening, just a lot of talking over one another, a lot of changing the subject, a lot of walking out of people's faces, just not much, listening or, talking like civilized human beings. Um, After I witnessed that for 2 days, the specific behavior that I did observe in a controlled setting was body language because I eventually got them all to sit in a conference room and without a bunch of stuff going on because the first part of the experiment we did it on the sales floor where communication is a really really big thing. Then I got them into, like I said, a conference room and sat them down and see if they can have a, listen to one another, trying to distinguish the difference between listening and hearing, which was the very important part for me because as a, just a regular employee, no, really much no voice at all. There's not much listening. There's a lot of, management telling you what to do, but there's no it's not really a good end result in just throwing orders out there and not listening to what the others have to say, especially when it doesn't benefit everyone. It doesn't do good for the company, and it doesn't do good for the management team because they're all about looking good. They're all about looking good, no matter if we're having a visit or anything. What specific behaviors did I observe? I decided to go towards body language. Um, putting Working in the environment that I work, you get put into a lot of uncomfortable situations, and I can tell that this was somewhat of an uncomfortable situation for at least one of the employees and one of the members of management. The human body, when put in a stressful situation, tend to respond in what seems like a natural way. A lot of times when the human body is put in, or someone, or an individual is put into a compromising situation, or a stressful situation, the body just naturally reacts and the individual has no idea. I personally studied different languages of three people I did this mini experiment on. The main manager, he sat up straight, engaged in conversation, seemed like he was really interested in what was being said. Um, uh, you know, then moving on, he was making really good eye contact. The team lead, which is just a little step below an actual manager, his team lead's body language was a little different. You can tell that she didn't really want to have the conversation. The conversation was, in a way, going into a dead end. Um, at least that's what her body language was giving. Her body language read more uncomfortable, not in the moment while interrupting the same person giving feedback. Next is the employee, the person giving feedback. Her body language was more of an angry, disrespected demeanor, meaning that because of the body language of the reaction to the team lead that was giving to the employee, she felt like the employee wasn't really listening. A common phrase that I hear in my workplace was, I hear you. That is the most common phrase that I hear throughout my entire place of business is I hear you, not I'm listening, or I hear your concerns, or I get your concerns. They're not, it's not a positive feedback type of way. Um, how I was thinking and feeling during the interaction, just witnessing, seeing how the different body responses to the feedback was being said really disappointed me. As leaders, they were trained to take constructive criticism and use it to their advantage to grow and work towards the bigger goal as an entire team. I do dream of a world where minds can be persuaded by the power of listening. By the power of listening, voices that have been silenced has power over voices that use their voice for corruption and toxic work environments. Lives can be changed by the power of listening. Being heard will no longer do justice for positive change. There is a lot of stereotypes when it comes to retail management, and I know you see like a lot of pictures and videos on the internet. Some people live that on a daily basis. I am one of those people who live that life, unfortunately, on a daily basis, where management no longer listen to their employees like they're technically supposed to. They just give orders and you know expect things to change. And I want to say that though this experiment for me was a positive experience and um, I got what I really needed out of it, it was also a failed experiment because nobody learned anything. Nobody learned the power of listening. I'm hoping in the next like year or so I can get them to, really get in touch with the power of listening. I really enjoyed that TED Talk. It was a beautiful TED Talk. I actually advised that TED Talk to a lot of the different management members, and actually some of them listened to it. So I'm hoping that the power of listening will eventually change the environment of certain work areas, especially retail management. Um, I'm hoping that, you know, workplaces become less toxic, um, where management teams are less in a fixed mindset. I feel like having a fixed mindset has a lot to do with how management teams respond to employees and, uncomfortable situations to get to a overall bigger goal that can help, companies and business men and women grow. Thank you.